live. Oh, welcome. Today really was Adventure Saturday. It was a little crazy. Let's get into it. I am ThreePlusKei. I'm just an honest Christian. I'm here really and genuinely to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And this space right here that we are in together is called the Secret Heart Club. There's a little bit of a theme song, so go ahead and vibe with me. Welcome to the Secret Heart Club. Everyone does a part to bring love, be loved. Hey, we love Jesus at the Secret Heart Club. All right, so we'll get started with a little praise report, a little hallelujah, thank the Lord type moment. Exactly, Ben. That's exactly what I'm about to go into. Hi, Allison. Hey, Allison and Ben. So you might be wondering, what has Ben talking about? Well, there was a 5K today. Today was the Riverbank Run. I signed up for it a while ago. I do multiple 5Ks every single year. And the last 3 years have kicked it off with the Riverbank Run 5K. And then there's a 10K I'm doing later on in a couple months, and then round out the year with a half marathon. So the 5K today was at 10:30. So, I was talking about it last night. I tried to log off early. It didn't work out that way. But I woke up this morning at 7. I put my alarm on for 7:30, ended up waking up at 7 because I was fit to go. And the reason why is because I drink water, and I would recommend this to you guys too. When you first wake up in the morning, drink a big glass of water, and that'll replenish the fluids that you lost overnight. And then you want to wait about 20 minutes to drink your coffee. But because I had the race to go to, I drank my big cup of coffee. I waited 5 minutes, I drank a big cup of water. I waited 5 minutes, and then I drank my coffee. And I wanted to make sure that there was an hour gap between finishing my coffee and when I had to leave so that I could pee, so that I wouldn't have to be at the 5K and have to use the bathroom. So I wanted an hour period of drinking nothing. So I drank my coffee. It was all good. It was time for me to go. I put my shoes on and I checked my phone to make sure I was right on time because it started at 10:30. I needed to leave at 9:45 to make sure I was in place for this 5K. What happened? I put my shoes on, checked my phone. It's 8:45. I did all this. I'm an hour early. So I was like, all right, let me go do a Bible study right quick for this hour. And then I left. Hey, German. And then I left the crib at 9:45 like I was supposed to. So I already didn't have a good start to this morning. Listen, okay? So I left at 9:45. I found a decent spot. You know how these races go, these 5Ks go. You're not parking anywhere near where the start of the race is. So I parked maybe like 5 blocks away. At 9:57, I pulled into the parking space. It starts to drizzle. Okay. I knew it would take me about 15 minutes to get to the start. So I was like, I'll leave my car at 10:15. At 10 o'clock, it starts raining. The race starts at 10:30. At 10:15, by 10:15, it is pouring rain. And one thing about me, I think I've told you guys, I used to look like a completely different person. And part of the reason for that is I used to have really thick eczema on my face, like so thick. Like 3 years ago, I went to a doctor for a respiratory infection, and he thought I had been burned by a fire on my face and on my neck because of the scars. Obviously, my face has healed. So anyway, I have severe eczema, which means me and moisture don't mix unless I immediately have a way to moisturize my skin, which I didn't. So that, and then this is going to sound a little trite, but if my hair gets wet, like I already need to get my hair retwisted. If it got wet, it would unravel the new growth even more. So anyway, it was pouring rain at 10:15, and I was like, I'm not running this race. Like, I have to get out of my car right now and then walk through this pouring rain and then run in this pouring rain. It's not happening. And so where is the praise report? You might be asking. Allison says, you must be exhausted. So I had a little conversation with myself in the car, and I was like, dang, I done told all these people I'm doing this 5K today. There's not one person in my life that doesn't know that 3+Kei is running a 5K today. And here I am not doing it. And so here's the praise report. And just follow me with this. I still kept my promise to myself because I decided to drive to the gym and do my typical Saturday workout, which is 45 minutes of strength training, 40 minutes of cardio, right? And so the messed up part is, so it was literally pouring rain at 10:15. By 10:21, when I was across town, no rain, it was sunshiny, it was the birds were singing, and I was like, dang, because it's 10:21. If I would have known that it would have stopped raining, I would have done the 5K, but there was no way. I checked the weather. I was checking the weather like every 2 or 3 minutes, and it was actually saying there was no rain. They weren't reporting rain at all. So I did the best with the information that I had, but the praise report is that the Lord, like, people think I'm like bragging sometimes, but I really hope y'all feel this way too. Like, I'm glad for the way the Lord made me, not in every way, because I have a lot of flaws, right? But the fact that the Lord made me in such a way, like, oh, this didn't work out, hurry up and pivot to something that's equally productive to you. And so that's the praise report, is that I was still able to get a solid workout today and move my body, because if nobody told y'all, moving your body is like mandatory. Moving your body, if you are able to do so, is worship in action. You go ahead and sing your songs. Another way to sing your songs praising the Lord is to put your body in motion, because the Lord did that for you. The Lord allowed that for you. So that's really like how I feel about movement. And for those of you who follow, I used to be morbidly obese. I was over 100 pounds overweight. I couldn't go up the stairs without getting absolutely winded. So the fact that I even have the privilege to do a 5K, to do a 10K, to even imagine doing a half marathon is a praise in and of itself, a testament to the goodness of the Lord. And I would encourage y'all as well to move your bodies and thank the Lord that you're able to do so. So that's my praise report for today, is the pivot. Lord giving me the mentality in my head to pivot in such situations. Allison says, good for you, making it to the gym though, right? That's a little something I did. And then after I went to the gym, I went to, because it's Adventure Saturday, I went to a park called Greeno Park, and I always get scared of the bears. And then I have to remind myself the bears aren't out yet. You know, you could chill out. but it makes me very happy to go off into the woods somewhere and mind my own business. But the topic today is actions over words, and it goes into my praise report today. As far as being a person, we talk a lot, don't we? Like, we have a lot to and this is y'all too, right? This is some of everybody. Like, dang, I wish I weighed less. Or dang, I wish I made more money. Or I wish I had a better relationship with my man. Or I wish my kids got better grades. And we do all this talking about what we want, or even worse, about what we're going to do, what we're about to do, and our actions don't back what we're saying. So anyway, I was during my hour where I was like running early for once, which is crazy. I was in Proverbs 26. As you know, I've been reading the chapter of Proverbs that corresponds with the day. And so today's the 26th. So I was in Proverbs 26 today, and stopped at verses 24 through 26, which talks a lot about the words people use to disguise their intentions. And so verse 24 reads, "Enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them, for 7 abominations fill their hearts. Their malice may be concealed by deception, but their wickedness will be exposed in the assembly." And so the thing is, I started off when I was writing my outline for this live stream, and we're talking about enemies disguise themselves with lips. It might be easy. Hey, Boston. It might be easy. We might be tempted to be talking about Susan. You know how we talk about Susan, and what Susan is over there doing, what Samaya is doing in small group. But let's talk about us. Let's talk about how we disguise our own intentions with our lips. So even in the way of, I want this and I'm going to do this, there's a reason why we say these things. We're either deceiving ourselves or deceiving others. For what purpose? For likes, to feel like we fit in, to feel like we are accomplishing something that we're not, because you're not accomplishing anything just by saying what you want to do or who you want to be. There's got to be action behind it. And I think so frequently we talk this big game, and we're being deceptive in our speech whenever there's not action behind it. Another thing that happens. So today I worked on the food truck, and you can't see what I'm wearing, but I'm wearing like a big baggy, I'm wearing like an oversized hoodie, and I'm wearing big baggy purple sweats. I look kind of like frumpy, right? And I noticed I also clean up very well. Thank you. I look good when I look good. And I noticed that there is a difference in how people treat me depending on how I'm dressed or how I present myself. So again, we're not going to talk about Susan and what she does. We're going to talk about us. And and think about our own actions and our own heart postures. And do we truly treat everybody in the same regard? And I think most of us, because we're not honest in general, like our nature is not honest, will be like, yes, I treat the janitor and the CEO the same, but that may not be the case. If there's somebody that can offer you nothing versus somebody who can offer you a job or a position or a reputation or to Boston, some food, some sliders, or whatever the case, we don't always treat people just as equally. There's a concept, there's a theory called the halo theory. And that is when we perceive somebody to be attractive, we consider them more trustworthy and more friendly. That's why when people are attractive, and I don't know if you guys feel you're attractive or not, I'm not ugly. I know this much. I'm not ugly and I'm smiley. My worldview tends to be a positive one because people are very friendly to me because I'm so smiley. I know that somebody else who is less attractive, and again, I'm not Beyonce, I'm not saying that, but somebody who's less attractive has a different world experience, and it's due to the halo, the halo effect, the halo theory. And we all do that. When somebody comes in our face, a salesman or somebody on the street who's just passing us and they're attractive and they smile at us, we naturally smile back to them. But think about the people who just walk past on the street. You're less inclined to be so friendly. And it's just our nature that way. Boston says, what kind of food do you make or sell? Sliders and loaded fries. And they are so good. So delicious. Boston says, you're not ugly. Thank you. I don't think so either. I mean, again, I'm no Beyonce. I'm fully aware of that. But, I have dimples. I have dimples and I laugh a lot. I think that's helpful. Allison says, yeah, I figured out a while ago people treat me better when I wear makeup and all that versus no makeup, but I don't like wearing makeup very often anymore. It's a whole thing. It's literally a whole thing, the halo effect. And so what I want to point out is, again, not Susan and what Susan does. We already know what other people do. We already have criticisms for other people. I really want us to look at ourselves, look at our own heart postures and the way we are deceptive. You feel me? Allison says, I want a slider and fries now. It is pretty incredible. I do well. I like to, I'm in charge of the selling, believe it or not. And I enjoy, what I really enjoy is upselling. You know what I mean? Like somebody comes and they're like, oh, I want a $6 fry, and then getting them up to like a $40 order. I really enjoy the whole process of selling things to people and getting them to pay more. Allison says, are you in a busy spot? We move around. We do. We move around, but we're out. We out here. We out here. The other part about being deceptive that we do is when we harbor ill will toward people. And so I'm reading this book. You guys know I keep it honest. I read some secular stuff, right? And so this book is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Bada Boom, Bada Bang, right? And I read it, actually, a friend recommended it about 3 years ago. And I am rereading it now because I feel like I care about things and people that I should probably not be spending so much energy on. And this book was a good way to like reframe that. But anyway, the author is saying he had moved to Russia at one point, and it was very disconcerting to him how honest people are, how honest and abrupt. And so we in the Western states would call it rude. I think we've all, if you guys have ever met like a Russian person, they are pretty like matter of fact, very upfront people. My first job at Subway was run by Russians, and they just didn't play. They didn't laugh. They just said what was going on. You know what I mean? And so he was saying this was disconcerting to him initially when he moved to Russia, but he learned to appreciate the culture of people just being and being upfront what they need to say. Unlike, again, our Western culture, what do? If you don't like somebody, say in the workplace, what do? Do you go up to Susan and you start mean mugging her? Do you go up to Susan and cuss her out? No, you put on your smile. If you're at church and you see Samaya in a small group and you just don't like her at all, what do? You put on a smile and you say kinder words. And so what this is saying, back to 24, enemies disguise themselves with their lips. So you're talking to Susan and Samaya, and you're saying sweet words to them, these nice words to them, but really in your heart, you're harboring a resentment, a bitterness, girl, I really don't like you, I don't mess with you, that kind of thing. So what do we do as Christians in that regard? Do we cuss them out? Because so that we're not disguising ourselves? Do we say verbally what is really on our wicked hearts? No. You continue to be kind to Susan and Samaya, and then you take your thing with them, you take it to the Lord. You ask the Lord to correct your heart. You ask the Lord for guidance and how to properly love Susan and Samaya so that you are not disguising your deceit. So then you can then interact honestly with Susan and Samaya. It's not to say you're going to love them all of a sudden, but biblically, you can posture your heart toward that way. So you're no longer operating in deceit. And this is what it looks like to turn this, because we all the time, we want to talk about, and it's Matthew, said he would pull up the verse. We have the log in our own eyes and want to sit here and look at the speck in Susan and Samaya's eyes. Pluck out, really get into their eyeballs and be like, oh, you're not doing that right. And what we don't do enough, and I would encourage everybody, is to look at your own behaviors, your own actions over words, your own disguised deceit that is coming from your own lips. You feel me? Oh, hey, bye, Boston. It's because of you, Boston, I'm going to learn an outro. I've been talking about, you know what? Let's do it tomorrow. Because of Boston, I got to come up with like an outro. Let me see. Allison says, I'm Russian, born in Chicago, but my family is from there. Yeah, that's where there's a lot of Russians. You know, they have their own kind of gang, like Italians with the mafia, and then like Black people and Hispanic people have a gang, and then white people have militias. Do you know Russians have, I forgot what it's called. That's beside the point. But what's a Russian gang called? What do they call themselves? I know they're out there. I know they're out there. In Chicago, well, I was about to go off on a mafia talk. Well, I'll just tell you this: if you ever, it's not even just a mafia. This is what I've learned through my travels in the United States in urban areas. If you ever go into a restaurant and the restaurant has like 5 people of one particular kind of whatever ethnicity, and then they're not, like, you go to order the food, like there's literally no one else in there, and you go to order the food and they act like it's a problem, and then these 5 men are just like they're playing cards or like doing whatever they're doing. Hurry up and leave. Hurry up and leave. Just leave. It's not whatever they got going on, it's a front. And you don't need to be there. The food's not going to be good anyway. I have had this happen a few times in my life where it was like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. Or somebody had to tell me, we're not supposed to be here, Lakeitha. Let's go ahead and leave. Yeah, not just, yeah. When I was in Florida, I called myself trying to order. It was a Hispanic, but it wasn't like, it was like a South American something, because you know I like to eat. And I went in there, I was like, let me get the whatever sandwich. I looked over to the side and they're just like playing cards and just kind of looking at me and like me mugging me. And then the guy acted like he couldn't be bothered to even take my order. Anyway, I had that experience a couple times before. I knew what time it was. I just took my sandwich and got up out of there. I'm no hater. I mean, I don't know. That's not like a biblical thing at all. But I'm no hater. What somebody else has going on, I really, in my heart, I mean, I don't know how like Christian that is, but I feel like what people have going on, that's what you got going on. And I don't feel the need to intervene in every little thing that I see. Not everything needs to be exposed. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta let it go. You know, Lord Poppy. Oh, girl, I talked about this. This 5K. Lord Poppy says, "Did you win?" I didn't do it. I didn't do it today for a number of reasons. The whole morning was busted. But I pivoted and went to the gym, and then I took a nice little walk. And then it's a new day. Oh, I should tell you guys, I did sign up because I didn't do, so my plan when it was still raining and I was in my car trying to figure out what to do was to go to the gym so that my time wasn't wasted and to immediately sign up for another 5K. And so the next one is next Saturday, and it's a pet 5K. And y'all don't know me like this, but I don't like pets. I don't really like anything that's lower than my kneecap. I'm not trying to deal with it. And so the idea of running around with a bunch of dogs, anyway, I did sign up for the veteran suicide awareness and prevention walk. And I do heart our veterans. There are 3 classes of people that I absolutely love. Number 1, veterans. Why? Because I ain't trying to do it. I ain't trying to do it. And you went ahead and did it. Thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. Because I ain't trying to do it. I appreciate you. And not only did you go ahead and do it, but you might have got a little PTSD when you did it. We got to protect you. Second, people, the elderly, specifically little elderly women. For whatever reason, I cannot control myself around little old ladies. I will literally just do whatever you want me to do without question, without fail. I don't really know what the deal is with that, but it is what it is. And the third group, the third class of people I could just nibble on all day, pregnant ladies. I appreciate the pregnant ladies. Never in my life. I was 12 years old when I decided Lakeitha's not giving birth. I have no desire in the world to give birth to a baby, but somebody needs to do it. Somebody's got to do it, and it's the pregnant lady. I love pregnant ladies with their little bellies or their big old bulbous bellies. Give the pregnant ladies what they want. Give the pregnant ladies what they want. Okay, go get it for them. So those are the 3. Let me see here. I know Jamal did not come in here with the skibbity. Jamal, again, with the skibbity. Skibbity toilet. Dang you, Jamal. And then Allison says, does Poppy still make content? I haven't seen her stuff in a long time. And she says she does. Yeah, go check out Lord Poppy stuff. Ben says you can borrow a snail. Jamal again with the skibbity toilet. Jamal. All right. Yes, Alice said nibble on pregnant ladies. What? Just a little bit. And elderly ladies, little old ladies. I just want to when you bite ice cream, okay, just hear me out. They did a poll and it's 20% of people bite their ice cream instead of lick their ice cream. The way you would bite ice cream is the way I would kind of bite a pregnant lady or a little old lady. You know what I mean? Just kind of little bit, just a little bit. Lord Poppy says they're kicking today. Paul says, okay, but I just got a little more of the same thing as the one who had to do something to make. Allison says, Key, Poppy is a big content creator that Lord Poppy named herself after. Poppy is a big, who's Poppy? Who's Lord Poppy and then Poppy? Somebody told me once, they said that my laugh was like this. This is the great thing about YouTube, and I would encourage people to express themselves on YouTube. Somebody said, they commented, this was months ago, they're like, her laugh, her being me, her laugh is like such and such. And I went and looked up such and such, and she has 5 million subscribers, and she just makes really silly content, like eating pizza or whatever. And so I would have never have known that such a content creator existed. And for such content that doesn't really, it's just silly. It's kind of silliness, I think. Lord Poppy says she's a metal artist. Allison says, she does music. I haven't seen her in a long time. Didn't know about the music. Poppy, the metal artist. Who is the one who came on here talking about Shinedown? Lord Poppy, was that you who introduced me to Shinedown? I really liked it. Yeah. Today was such a good day, guys. And I was initially going to name this live stream Pray for Discernment from people who pray. It was going to be pray for discernment and discernment to protect us against people who have deceitful words or like smile in our face. But just to bring it back around, I really want you guys to encourage you guys about who you are and what goes on in your heart of hearts. And I think it's its own discipline. Like I talk about this sometimes, like most people never really do the work to get to know themselves. Like I was talking to this one friend and she is very I was going to say tight-lipped, but she's very like, she keeps her emotions to herself. We're actually not friends anymore because it's difficult to be friends with somebody who is emotionally unavailable. You know what I mean? And so anyway, I was telling her like, yeah, you were the oldest in your family and the youngest was disabled and your parents worked. And from what you've told me, right, they put a lot on your plate. And so you're this way, like you're emotionally unavailable because you took on a parentified role in your family and nobody was there to hear your emotions. So your response to that was to keep your emotions to yourself. So as not to burden others. And she could not receive that. And maybe I was out of turn for saying that to her, like exposing that about her. But that's just a case in point about like, we can go a whole lifetime and not examine our true intentions and our true heart postures and who we are and why we are the way that we are. And so I will forever encourage people to do a deep dive into themselves and their intentions and what they want and versus what they say. And ultimately, your actions will expose who you are. Like even if you're smiling in somebody's face 24/7, eventually a sideways comment is going to come out. Because some people, just putting it out there, some people are using their discernment about you. You know, Lord Poppy says, I don't know about you, but I got yelled at and told I need to remove her late fee because Biden said no, because Biden said so. What does that mean? Hey, Luffy Gear. I am not on point with this ukulele today. I've got to remember to do this outro. And just so I'm putting it out there, I also smile in people's faces. I wish I could say how I feel more often, actually. Lord Poppy says, that's how my day went. Collection on credit cards. Dang it. Collections is rough. And starting in July or August, they're about to start the collections, like wage garnishment for student loans. Back in the day, back in the day, I had my wages garnished. And for those of you who have not had your wages garnished before, it is no joke. It is not, because if you can imagine, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck, which means you have zero wiggle room, and then all of a sudden they're taking out 10% of what you have, what else are you going to do? And then you get another job and they're going to find that income. Wage garnishment is tough. The whole country, the country is pretty broke as it is. 60% of people have less than $400 in their bank account. And this 60% of the people are the same people that are about to get their wages garnished. What do you think is y'all? I mean, not to, what do you think is about to happen? Ding, ding, ding. What do you think is about to happen? Oh, man. Shout out to, I got to pay my own student loans. I got that bill. Luffy Gear says, my friend made my day. He helped me in a game. Good. Allison says, it is rough. Just got wrapped up with a 2-year ordeal over a small amount. I know that's right. I still have a hospital bill, man. And it's not that you don't want to pay it. It's just, I think sometimes, obviously you don't have it, or else you would pay it. Sometimes it can just get overwhelming, the amount that you need to pay. Like when I think about my student loans, and shout out to Biden for that, actually. I did get a significant portion of my loans forgiven. Because outside of that forgiveness, I was, you know what I mean? Because there was it wasn't just my undergrad, it was my associates, undergrad, and then a year of grad school. It wasn't just, you know what I mean? And when we look at debt to income ratio, babe, I was out there, and I'm still kind of, I mean, at least now it feels doable. It's a mountain, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of people with their debt, it can seem impossible to pay that back, especially with medical debt. Cancer, the average cancer treatment is about $50,000. Cancer alone is responsible for putting like not filing bankruptcy, but like bankrupting people. You will go into financial ruin over some cancer, especially if you don't have insurance. And then I would encourage people understand. Here's the thing. I was gonna say something messy, and that was understand insurance. So like for me, I took the highest deductible, so I'm only paying like a little bit every month. But if I were to get into an accident, God forbid, or get seriously ill, my deductible is like stupid high. And I account for that. It might wipe me out, actually. But after that, like if I got cancer, for instance, I would pay this portion of it. And then in theory, the insurance would pay the rest of that $50,000. But what's happening, remember the guy, the CEO insurance guy that just got shot in the head and killed by Luigi Maggioni or whatever? The reason why that was significant is because that CEO was running an insurance agency that is responsible for denying claims. So let's say let's do the 50,000. Let's say my deductible is $15,000. Okay. That means I come up with $15,000 and pay the company, and then the insurance company should pick up the other $35,000. But what insurance companies are currently doing, and this is the reality in America right now, insurance companies went for profit. That means they're trying to maximize their profits. How do they maximize profits? By denying claims, by taking your money that you pay every month for insurance, keeping that money maximum for their profits, and then denying your claims and saying that it's not as serious as you said. So I'm going to take your money that you pay me every month, and I'm not going to pay the $35,000 that you're paying into this system for. And that is a regular occurrence right now in America. And that's why that CEO got shot in the head like he did, because somebody got fed up with it. I'm not saying that it's right, but that's why that happened. And it put other insurance agencies on notice that the people are fed up and paying attention. Allison said, I have to go take care of the babies. They are not having it tonight. God bless you all and your rest. See you later, Key. I'll see you tomorrow, Allison. I am actually going to pray us out because we went in a totally different direction. We're talking about dead CEOs. We're supposed to be talking about heart postures. Dear Jesus, thank you for this time together. I always feel inspired by this community, good Lord. And I just want to take the time to thank you for creating us and putting us all together. I would like to take the time to ask you to bless all of the individuals that come into the Secret Heart Club to share their own hearts and their own experiences, and above all, their faith. Be it their struggles with faith or their realizations, their what do you call it? Their realizations of how they're coming along in their faith. Good Lord, thank you for these people. It's really come at a time when it was needed, and my genuine prayer is that I could be just as a support and friend to the people in the Secret Heart Club as they are for me. Please allow the continued success and growth of the Secret Heart Club so we can continue to touch the hearts of everyone who watches and lead them to your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:05 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Talk to you later.